Speak Life. I love that song because it speaks about your attitude about life and loving it and living it. I'm Reverend Joe Rutledge, and welcome to Healing Life Fellowship Church. We're a spiritual church with a mission to provide opportunities for the advancement of mind, body, and spirit through personal growth. A spiritual healing and positive living with the guidance of the universal laws and principles of spiritualism. I'm glad that you've been able to see us and be here today. So as I mentioned, attitude. Attitude is something we're going to need more and more moving forward. It's something easy to forget. It's something easy for someone to take from us. But I'm going to remind you, be strong. How has your attitude been lately? Who gets it? Is it positive? Are you still dreaming? Or is it preventing you from dreaming? We got to get to that dreamy state again. Do you think of what the world is going through right now, trying to make a better place? That's what we're trying to do here at Healing Life Fellowship Church, in our own way, one person at a time. You don't have to look far. Look to your left, look to your right, and you'll see a person who is working to make a better place. We're doing our part, trying to influence one person who hopefully will influence another person to make a positive choice and a positive difference. Unfortunately, it's not hard to find somebody with a less positive attitude around. But when we set aside some of the negative people, we set aside the media that might not be as positive, and we set aside the social media of the people we don't need influence from, we can start getting in the right direction because we have choices and we have free will. Unfortunately, it's not hard to find those sources, but I'm here to tell you the sky is certainly not falling. Some people think so, but it's not. And it's in our heart each day that we remind ourselves that it's not falling. You see, in us we have the freedom to make a better life on our own accord. And with a positive attitude, we will make our life and others better. Use that. Take somebody's positive energy for yours and infect them with yours as well. As a spiritualist and a student of the universal laws, you learn about your role in the world. To be positive, to be a contributor, to be accountable to yourself and to the world we live in. What we need, or what is needed so that we do think beyond the negative, is that positive attitude. That belief that we can and will make a positive contribution, not only to our people, but to the environment we're in. Be positive right now and always. You know, I was on vacation last month, and as the plane was making its journey west to California, I sat there and I observed the mountains, the terrain, and I was amazed. I thought, wow, years ago people crossed this in a covered wagon. I don't know if I would have had that grit to do so. And then I thought, gosh, if the 16 and 1700s had the media we had, if they had TV, if they had everything else, would they have made it? Would they have had some influences that might have prevented them from making it? And then we wouldn't be who we are today. That journey built the American spirit. That American spirit moved from generation to generation. But as technology changed, it meant something different to each generation. So some people say that American spirit is gone. As I really reflected about it, it's just changed. I can't tell you exactly how it's changed, but here's some facts. Would you have gone from New York to LA knowing that you're traveling 8 to 20 miles per hour, knowing that you don't have windshield for the rain, knowing that you don't have air conditioning? So we're going to face all these problems, and we don't have the luxuries that we have. It took a different kind of determination to do that. So what we have to do is now take our determination and make it unique for our times so that we don't give up. And we teach our children, we're going to fail, but we keep moving on. Because if they would have given up, we wouldn't have this country and we wouldn't have the journeys we have today. And I'm glad we do. I'm glad we do, and we can share that. Positive attitude, desire, and focus, and grit is what they had. A little gold in California didn't help. You see, you push yourself more when you don't have the negative. So turn the TV off. Turn the radio off. Call your most positive friend. Tune off your negative family and friends on the days that they are negative. Hopefully it's not every day. But keep yourself around positive people and people who know that things can be done. I'm in sales, and I always like being around the optimistic person, even though what they're trying to do is probably impossible. I know their mind is saying, how can I do it? How can I do it? And we need to keep saying that. How can I do what I want to do? How can I be what I want to be? People have second and third careers. Every firefighter has a second job practically. A lot of teachers pick up another job when they retire. So a lot of people pick up a second job or a second career. You can pick up your second. You can pick up your third. Spirit asked me to remind us about those external forces, the things we can't control that sometimes shut us down and shut our attitude down. Don't let your family and friends be one of them. They're here to remind you that we are going to be challenged. But be mentally tough. If it's up to you, choose to act and be positive in the environment you're in. If you fall, get back on track. Because you know what? Each day, we can fall. And each day, there's going to be someone who does. What if you're the person that falls, but you're around positive people that help you up, and then you can help them up the next day? A lot easier. I'm not here to say it's going to be easy. I'm not here to even say staying positive is natural for some of us. Some of us are wired because we haven't had a chance to see the miracles as often as others. But we can start to learn this little process called discernment. And discernment says, all right, I'm hearing this negative thing. Does this feel right to me? How do you feel? Is this right for me? Does my gut feel wrong about it? If my gut feels wrong about it, how am I feeling it? Is it making me feel weak with my energy? Is it making me feel sick? If none of that's happening, and you don't feel it's wrong, chances are your body is discerning that what you're contemplating and doing or saying could be right. It's a process we learn, discernment, to understand what is right, what is the true north, if you will. We can avoid giving up and feeling drained if we work on that process and understanding it. It's such a simple concept, but it's so important to not taking away your energy, because the more energy you have, the more you want to do. I'll give you an example. Last night, Debbie, my wife, was asking me, you want to put up the light? And I'm like, oh no, I'm exhausted. And then a minute later, I'm like, oh, I just let the negative go out. Hey, hon, I'm ready to do it. Oh no, I already gave up. How many times that happened? Small example, but real. So yes, we're going to have challenges. Businesses are going to get hit. And there will be unfortunate things that happen as we have inflation, as the world changes, and we adjust to what we've gone through. It just is. Is it bad? No. We had to go through it. Why? Our soul made a choice to be in this time, in this place, so we could go through this experience. And now it's our chance to help people say, you know what? This isn't the end of the world. We can do better. We can stay positive. We can have that attitude that be contagious. More than ever, we're going to have that positive attitude for success to help drive and speak that life into people, as the song said, speak life. Because if you're speaking life, it's hard to be the opposite, which is drained, bogged down, and in the negative. Did you know in 2020, a year most of us remember is not our best year, donations to charities in the United States were $449 billion, nearly $500 billion. Now, if you think about the dollars that got donated in church buckets outside of stores, things like that, I bet we're more than $500 billion in money donated to help people. We are a very generous nation, whether we think we are or not. And I think if we had more news stories that highlighted those, people would be more motivated to give their time, their energy, and their inspirations. I thought it was amazing. We thought it might have been one of the worst years ever, and yet it was one of the best for donations ever in this country's history. Up 4% from 2019, which was a very prosperous year. So be challenged. Be positive. You don't want to fall into that trap, because we don't have to. God is speaking to us each day, each way. And when you get that pay it forward moment, do it. Again, I talked about second and third careers. You've got a chance to remake yourself. If you regret something in your life and you've been thinking, well, I want to be a florist, or I want to do this, start working at a way to do it part-time so that you can actually find out, well, number one, do I love it? Oh, I tried it. I really don't like it as much as I thought it would be. Or maybe you like making the arrangements, but you learn that I don't have the business skills to have the business, so I don't need to have the business, but maybe I can help somebody in my spare time. And then you kind of learn what you can and can't do. Because sometimes some of the greatest florist arrangements are made by people who that's all they want to do, but they didn't want to own the business and they don't know how to have the business. Be in your moment. Find somebody to help you run the business, and you do the flowers. Seek to quiet your mind. Ask the universe for guidance. If you have some negative chatter, ask. Ask for signs. Ask for some way to help you get out of what you're thinking. Because reality is, the universe is trying to send you a sign. They're trying to have somebody call you up on the phone, send you an email, or some other inspiration to get your mind in the right place. Acknowledge it. Thank the universe. And act on it. And if you're passionate about something, get involved. Get in your happy space. When you're in your happy space, nobody can bring you down. At least not as easy. Volunteer. And when you volunteer, be contagious with enthusiasm so other people can feed off your energy. If I was up here talking like Charlie Brown, this would be a whole different talk. So I'm not crazy energetic like Tony Robbins, but I'm trying to tell you the way you talk makes a difference. Because miracles happen 1 minute at a time, one decision at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time. If you don't start working on your miracle, you're not going to make it happen for you. You can't just think about the miracle, you've got to act on it. Do you have the grit to do what you need to do to start that next chapter? Even if you hesitate, but you finally act, you've acted. And that's the important part. Because the first step, it's like that Santa Claus, right? The Winter Warlock. Put one foot in front of the other. And he was afraid, but then all of a sudden, the Winter Warlock's dancing, right? You got to put that first step forward. Win the battle of your mind. Have the spirit and the drive to build something. Some type of value, something unique for your family. What can you do to make something memorable that says, the Rutledge family always did this. My family always did this. Is it passing down the best lasagna? Is it having a chili cook-off and always winning? What is it? Doesn't matter what it is, do something that's family-based, that helps drive the values of being with family. There's many times we can reflect and ask, what did I do wrong? I raised my kids, but they're just not making the right decisions. Well, maybe it's part of what we did as a parent. It doesn't come with a manual. We learn, we make mistakes. But some parents aren't fortunate enough to have that adult relationship with your kids and give that feedback later in life. But here's the thing, if you communicate and stay communicating with your kids, you'll have the chance to say, I wish I would have allowed you to make more decisions. I wish I would have allowed you to fail that assignment, because you would have got a lesson from that assignment. Instead, I stayed up with you all night making you do it. But if we would have let them fail a little bit, they would have learned the consequences sooner instead of later in life, and it might have saved them from some hardships. The woulda, coulda, shoulda moments, right? It's never too late. So there's that phrase, give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach him to fish, feed him for life. It's true. Start applying this in the simplest ways. Get a flat tire, let your kid change the tire. Small things. You're paying for their tuition, transfer it to their account, make them write the check so they see how much money is being paid for tuition, even if you're helping them. Little things that help them understand that things aren't free, and that there is sacrifice, and there is a process that we're all going through. We want to help them, but we also want to help them be their own person. As I said, our struggles are different. The American dream is not dead. It's just changing. It's changing. Everybody says that the American dream is living better than your parents did. They're focused on the financial things. No, the American dream is learning to be passionate about what you do so that you're not in debt like your parents were, and you can actually live a life. That's what I think the new American dream is. It's not about having the best job and having the best house. It's about having the best life. And I think our kids they're moving that direction. It's just hard for us to see it. And sometimes they're going to have to fail before that happens. The truth is, our minds are not tough enough sometimes to speak about the guidance that our kids need. We're still using those kid gloves. But we can help them get a little more positive. We can help them be more clear. We can get a more positive ringtone. All in fun, don't worry about it. And our outlook will change just by hearing little things. And laughter's good for the soul. Things happen. It's not a big deal. We move forward, we learn from it. And it can't hurt to say yes once in a while. Probably it's not just our opinion, but maybe it's yours. Through God, all people can accomplish anything. And I'm asking you to remember to draw upon that God force inside of you, because we're all co-creators with God. Don't let others control you with their words. Control yourself. Control your own thoughts. Let go, because we're all worthy. If someone's negative, walk away. You can walk away physically, or you can shut down what you're hearing. Because if you know it's not true, then let it go. Confrontation's not always the best way. Maybe you simply just call them out on it. Maybe you'll learn something by calling them out on it. Because if you don't call them out on it, guess what? They're always going to do it. Shock them. Help them realize what they're doing, because sometimes people are just repeating what their parents did to them. It's not that they wanted that habit, it's just that's the way communication was in their household. So how can I make it better? Sometimes you just got to ask somebody that question. How can I make things better for you today? And if they think, and they look at you and they're like, there's nothing you can do. Oh, okay, thanks. I'm here for you if I can do anything. Then they realize they just projected onto you and they thought about what they've done. Maybe you get an apology, maybe you don't. It doesn't matter. But you've helped them think about it. There's so many things that are happening. And you can choose to tune in to what's happening and focus on the negative things, or you can choose to tune out and not focus on the negative things. It's a choice. Go to what you gravitate to, but careful what you gravitate to. It's up to you. It's up to be. Going to be, it's up to me. I've heard that phrase many times. I've read it in books. If you want to focus on a positive future, it is up to you to create it. Because you become what you think about most of the time. And especially what you think about and act on. Make your daily miracles happen. We make miracles happen despite what others are putting into the energy, because it's our energy. But we can't make miracles happen for other people if they aren't willing to do the actions needed. It's okay. Pray for them, but let it go. If they aren't going to help make it happen, there's only so much you can do. Be the example. God doesn't want us to think that we are limited, because we're not. What we can create is unlimited. It's just a matter of how much energy we want to put into it. Thoughts are things, and we do become and attract what we think about. So let's go. Let's attract all kinds of good things that we want to do and be. Because through our Lord Savior, all things are possible. Realize just because you think positive doesn't mean it's going to happen. You have to think, plan, and act. And know that some failure is good. The light bulb had a lot of failures before it was successful. Some people may say, I did everything I was supposed to do, and I still failed. Great, what'd you learn? That part we forget about. So unfortunate things will happen in our lifetime. They'll happen daily. We may not learn about them because we may not focus on them, but we may learn about them because that's what the world's focused on. Just remember, some people, it is my belief that we make a contract before our soul comes down to earth. It feels right to me. It doesn't have to feel right to you. But I have a lot more peace understanding that my soul came down this lifetime for this experience, that I don't even know what it's going to be. And I may experience joy, I may experience hardship, I may get some shocking things. But I don't know them in advance. But in the end, it was my soul's choice. And so, when tragedies happen, and they do, understand you were a co-creator in that choice. Your soul may have connected with your sister, your mother, your brother, your mom, your dad. That soul knew it was going to go through it. But us as humans, we didn't know that. Our God is a great God. Our God doesn't want us to get hurt. But our God also is willing to give our soul free choice, in my mind, which is why some of these things that we can't explain happen. But it's the attitude from what happens that build us. It's being able to understand the tragedies and saying, God, I know I'm going through this. When someone else has this challenge, help me help them through it. Positive attitude from even unfortunate circumstances. We're supposed to learn. We're supposed to help. We're supposed to be happy. It's the only way I can reconcile some of the things that everybody has to witness. But focus on your attitude. How you can make things better for another. Be the contagious person at work. Be the person somebody laughs about. Brian has no problem with that, right, Brian? I saw somebody nudging you, that's what I said. But keep it simple. Be willing to be the person that somebody can tap on the shoulder and ask for help without being afraid. Because God doesn't make junk. We're all here for unique reasons, unique choices that we may or may not know. And that free will is going to drive our life, and I'm hoping it drives you in a positive way. Forget about the outside world. Let the music inside you speak. Because happiness and attitude are both inside jobs, and if we ever go to a counselor or talk to our parents or talk to anybody else who's trying to help us, they can point things out. But in the end, it's when the switch goes on inside the heart, when the switch goes on inside the mind, that we're like, oh, yeah, it's going to be. It's up to me. I choose to be happy now. I'm over it. I finally understand. It's me. So know, you and only you have the ability to turn that thought around. And I know the people here understand universal laws, and we're all here to lean on one another and help one another through any challenge. And these subtle reminders that we get each day are here to help you understand you can be the best person. So I'm telling you, God bless, be positive, and be the change.